What is up, my friends? It is Tuesday afternoon's Anfield Agenda News Roundup, and you are all very welcome along. Obviously, we know that Hugo Ekitike is undergoing his Liverpool medical at present, and we're going to let you know as soon as that is concluded. We're also going to take you through the latest on Alexander Isak and how he's been made to train alone at Newcastle. That and a little bit around Diaz's future, as well as Federico Chiesa, should we hope keep you up to date with where we're at in this summer's transfer window. You know the drill. I'm going to talk for a few minutes, but I want to know your thoughts, so let me know in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I certainly hope that you do. And of course, don't forget, we'll be back here tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda to go through this and more stuff. Right, let's get cracking. Loads to get through. We're going to start off with, well, a bit of a comparison here. And whilst I never really like players being compared to other players, Julien Laurens and Beth Lindup of ESPN have both said Ekitike models himself on Karim Benzema. He's an accomplished dribbler and enjoys creating for his teammates. With one scout from a top European club telling ESPN he loves playing for others who love playing for him. Does that sound like anybody to you, ladies and gentlemen? Now, I just said I don't like comparisons, and here am I about to make a Bobby Firmino one. And that's what I believe the type of player we're going to get here is. Somebody who links up play, somebody who will, yes, chip in with some goals, but maybe a player that opposition fans don't fully appreciate in the same way that we will, because of course we know what Bobby Firmino did. So let me know if you like that comparison in the comments, or the Benzema one. But either way, plenty more to go. Right, so this here again from Julien Laurens said, for Hugo Ekitike, the decision to join Liverpool was easy. He'd heard all about the greatest fan channel. Okay, maybe he didn't. Right, we'll go to the actual news then. So from the moment he spoke with Liverpool, head coach Arne Slot about his plans for the season ahead, the French youth international was completely sold on a move to Anfield, buying into the belief that bald is better. It is understood that Slot held a Zoom call with Ekitike, during which the Liverpool head coach detailed his need for a mobile and dynamic number 9 who could combine brilliance on the ball with tenacity and intelligence off it. Ekitike saw himself as the perfect fit, with sources telling ESPN that Arne Slot pulled off a masterclass, prompting the player to prioritise a move to Liverpool despite interest from elsewhere. How many times have we heard that, by the way? That Arne Slot entering into these conversations sells the player on the vision, knows exactly what he wants the player to do for the squad and how he can improve the player. And the players leave, with absolute glowing praise. I don't know why it almost sounded like I was having a stroke there for a moment. Sometimes my thoughts a bit faster than my mouth. It won't catch up. I know that's hard to believe, but it happens sometimes. Right. That, and I'm too lazy to do retakes of videos. That's probably the other secret here. Right, let's move on to Fabrizio Romano and Federico Chiesa. He said that Chiesa is not travelling with Liverpool for the summer tour and pre-season with Arne Slot's team. He's not going because Slot knows very well that he wants to leave. He wants to return to Italy. There's nothing imminent regarding any move yet, said Fabrizio Romano. Now, we do know as of last night that there are 7 clubs interested in Chiesa. Atletico Madrid, Roma, Juventus, and I believe a few others. Maybe the Juventus one isn't right, but there's 7 clubs, 6 of them in Italy, Como being another one, and then, of course, Atletico Madrid. Right, Greg Evans has been speaking a little bit about the defensive situation at Liverpool and, of course, Mark Gay. This is what Greg's had to say. Slot would ideally like another senior centre-back to call on alongside Virgil van Dijk, Canade and Gomez, as his preference is to have 2 senior players fighting for every position. Endo could be used in times of need, but Liverpool are planning on utilising the market to fill the gap. Several options, including Mark Gay, are under consideration. It would be really interesting if Canade stayed and we still went out and signed Mark Gay. That would be brilliant, but it would be a hard sell, I think, to keep the players happy. But in that regard, I'd be more than happy. The talk was always that he was going to bring in a younger centre-back if Canade stayed. But either way, just want to make sure that people know it will be addressed and Liverpool haven't forgotten about the centre-back position. Moving on now to Christian Falk and Alto Belli speaking about Luis Diaz and his impending move to Bayern. They say, according to information from Sport Bild, Liverpool and Bayern Munich are optimistic that there will be an agreement for Luis Diaz. At the weekend, the Bavarians learned that Liverpool should be ready to talk and Bayern are ready to pay €75 million, which I think is about £63 million. Will that get it done? It still sounds a little bit on the low side for what Liverpool were at least requesting. Well, I say requesting. There was a number put out there and it was 80 million. Whether Liverpool briefed it or it was a number the journalist ran with, that's the number that's been doing the rounds, and that's a little bit shy of it. Now, speaking of things being a little bit shy, let's talk about ISAK and his wage demands at Newcastle. So this from Alex Crook says that Alexander Isak wants £300,000 per week to sign a new contract at Newcastle. I guess the big question here, folks, is can they pay him that 300 grand a week, and can they still strengthen in and around him? For what it's worth, he is currently training on his own away from the Newcastle squad, which doesn't really scream we want you to stay, does it? Doesn't really scream you're focused and ready for the new season. Eddie Howe quote regarding Alexander Isak's future, he said, "We love him as a player, we love him as a person, and we want him to stay. I'd never give that guarantee to anyone because I've been in football long enough to know that I could be looking very silly, so I won't do that. The desire from everybody to keep him is as strong as it could be, so fingers crossed it will happen for us." And as I mentioned, he's training away from the rest of the squad at the minute, which isn't great. Moving on now to Florian Plettenberg and Liverpool's pursuit of Rodrigo from Real Madrid. He said Liverpool are closely monitoring the situation of Rodrigo as he's one of the candidates for Liverpool if Luis Diaz leaves. Liverpool are informed about the conditions and his current status. Real Madrid will be open to selling him. Rodrigo's aware of this and the market is being explored. However, the package will be very expensive. The 24-year-old is reportedly earning up to 10 million net per year. So net. In England, then, you're probably talking 20 million before that. I don't know how creative the accountants can be in the UK, but net after taxes, that's a lot of money. Let's put it that way. So will Liverpool be able to match that? Well, let's wait and see. Santi Auna, Santi _J_FM, if you're on X, said there are direct talks with Liverpool and Rodrigo's camp. Still no talks between the clubs, but the interest is growing. And there's been lots written over the last 24 hours about Rodrigo, and if I was to guess at who the most likely replacement would be for Luis Diaz, I would say at this point, Isak's the wild card, and I can't really speak to the confidence on that because I'm not really sure. But I would say it's probably a two-horse race at the minute between Rodrigo and Malik Fofana. Now, we ran a poll on the channel last night, and overwhelmingly people wanted it to be Rodrigo. So let's wait and see what happens. But do let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking on this one. I think Anthony Gordon's gone very, very quiet. That may make a lot of you happy, but his name hasn't really been doing the rounds too much. A couple of journalists been throwing him in over the last day or two, but nothing too dramatic. Rodrigo seems to be the most spoken about at this moment in time. Is that because maybe Madrid are looking to move him on, or he's decided he wants to move on? We know that he's also brought in a super agent to try and get a move for him, so let's wait and see. But either way, I think you'll agree, exciting times ahead. If Luis Diaz does leave, I'm very confident that Liverpool will bring in an adequate replacement, but if Luis Diaz also stays, then that's good as well. What I do take a little bit of frustration with is the likes of Pipe Sierra and others trying to make out again like he's been hard done by at Liverpool and that he's the 18th highest paid player. Ultimately, I look at it like this. He signed a 5.5-year contract. He's 3.5 years into that. He was happy when he signed the contract. He's still going to be a multi-millionaire. And if he thinks he can get more money elsewhere, well, that's what this is all about, and he's looking to move on. And I'm relaxed about it. He's entitled to look for more money. Liverpool are entitled to say, see out your contract on the terms that you've agreed. So let's see if we get a happy medium in here. But this belittling of Liverpool again, it needs to stop. We had it with Sadio Mane when he was looking to move on, and we were going to be told, well, he'd be treated better over in Bayern. How did that work out? Didn't last too long over there. So I'm all for players wanting to look after their own interests, but I'm not here to have my club thrown under the bus by anybody in the media. So let's leave Liverpool out of it and just talk about the deal as respectfully as we all have. Right, ladies and gents, that's it for me for now. See you tonight at 8:45. And again, appreciate your support. If you want to get all the news up to date as quickly as possible, remember to scan the QR code on the screen there now and join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp community where we try to give you our take on what's happening. A few funny pictures as well, like EKITIKE and his clobber heading over for the medical today. That is it for me for now. But as I said, I'll see you tonight. Much love. Bye-bye.